Hello everyone. Today me, Jashanpreet Kaur.
Hi everyone, this is me Arzu.
Hi everyone, this is Ramanjit Kaur.
Hi friends, I am Arshdeep Kaur.
We are going to present a presentation on topic social perception, and firstly we'll talk what is social perception, and it is the study of how we form impression of other people and make inferences about them, or we can say the process through which we can see to know about them or understand about the people or what they are thinking. And there are numerous ways by which we can understand or make perceptions about them, but the first one is non-verbal communication, and in this we try to understand current feelings of person, moods, emotions, or how they are feeling right now, provided by non-verbal cues, which are facial expressions, eye contact, body postures, and movement. And if we talk about eye contact, it is really important. Like if two persons are talking with each other, it makes the communication of them really effective. Like there are many clues given by the eyes, like if the person has too much eye contact, it means he or she has a superiority complex with communication, or we can say domination, or sometimes we also say lack of respect, threat, or desire of insult too. And if there is a too little eye contact, it's interpreted as paying attention to someone, or polite, or we also can say shyness or dishonesty. And lastly, if I'm talking to you guys and I'm not doing eye contact properly, like I'm withdrawing my eyes, it means I'm hiding something, or I just don't wanna say something to you guys, or I'm not comfortable with you. So and then if we talk about facial expressions, it means feelings and emotions are often reflected in the face and can read in the specific expression. Charles Darwin believed that human emotion and expression are universal, and it means human encode and decode expressions in the same way. There are six basic emotions on the human face, which are anger, fear, happiness, sadness, surprise, disgust, which we can also see in the picture. Like if we see any face from the picture, we just immediately know the person is sad or happy or surprised. And sorry, and lastly, if we talk about body postures and movements, it means if I need something, it doesn't need I have to say something from my mouth, or I have to say it directly to them. If I'm not that person who is really good in speaking something to everyone, I can just do I can also tell them by my postures, like I want three apples, I just do three, and he'll understand I want three, and I can pinpoint to the apple, like I want this, and he'll definitely know I want three apples with my gestures. And through these we can know about the person's thinking or understanding what they need. Like from these non-verbal communication, we make perceptions about them, what they are feeling, what they are not, or what they need. So it's really important to make perceptions about anyone.
So now I'll be giving a brief description on implicit personality theory. It describes the specific patterns and biases an individual uses when forming impressions based on a limited amount of initial information about an unfamiliar person. It also makes a person develop types of schema on the basis of how a person presents themselves in a particular situation. Implicit personality theory is generally classified into two ways, positive and negative. Also, it can be viewed as per a group, which is influence of prejudice in how individuals see others on a large scale, or it can be individual differences in perception of others. Now, if we take an example of a cricket team as a group and they are about to get into a match, and we have already seen a video of their training and how much they are dedicated towards their practicing and hard work, regardless of the results, we would be positive towards them and would support them, even though if they lose or win. Whereas on the other hand, if the same team we would have been doing partying and would have been chilling before the match and we got to know that, we must have created a perception that in case they win, they would be winning because of their luck, and if they lose, that would be because of their irresponsibility and lack of practicing. So moving further, if we take an example of an individual who is presenting himself or herself very nicely and calmly, being an extrovert, starting in conversation and reverting very nicely, we would create a type of a schema into our minds that that person must be generous and intelligent because he is reverting and starting a communication with the different people in the society. On the contrary, if the same person would have been rude, kind of an introvert, and staying aside from the group and not starting a communication and even not reverting back properly, we would create a type of a stereotype into our minds that that person must not be that much intelligent as compared to the other person we were talking before. So this is all in all, this is what implicit personality theories describe. And if we take an example which we have mentioned in our presentation, if a perceiver observes someone acting energetically and assumes that energy is related with intelligence, the perceiver will most likely conclude that the person is intelligent. So if we see a person with a good sense and we see that the person is very much intelligent and he's talking very nicely and he has some sort of knowledge on a particular topic, but then also we will make a perception into our minds that this person must be knowing something else about the other topics as well because he is intelligent, because he is conversing. So that's all with implicit personality theories. Thank you.
So now I will be describe about the behavior and attitude attributes of the personality. So we have two types of external and internal. In the internal one, we will study about that the person is behaving a certain way because of the something about him or her, such as his or her attitude, character, or personality. In this, in a common word, we can say that internal attributes means to say that in which the person blaming to himself because of his or her internal feelings. In on the other hand, external attributions refers to the person is behaving a certain way because of something about the situation. He and she is in the assumption that the people would respond the same way. We can say that in this the people like blame to the surrounding and the situation that would be the effect of their behavior. That thing is responsible for this thing. That called be a external one. For example, let's take a common example. I will be give my personal example. I will be moving with my friends by a car for a trip, and during my journey, my cars break down. If I think it's the breakdown because of my ignorance, then it shows the internal attributions because I am blaming to my own ignorance. So it's my internal feeling. And on the other hand, external one is if I think the car is old one, then I am blaming to the situation or a other factor that is responsible for this situation. So that's called the external. So I am blaming the outer factors instead of my own mistake. Now I'm going to describe about the co-creation model. In this model, we will be study about the person has the information from the multiple observation. That means the different time, the observation would be taken in the different times and the different situation that can be perceived the co-creation that could be caused the behavior of the people. In this study, we can also know about the why these kind of peoples are behaving like this behavior. For example, if we take about the example of scientists, we will be observe the behavior of different scientists, then we will co-variation, take a variation from this one, and we will conclude why these are the behaving like this. Under this co-variation model, we will discuss about the three one: consistency, information, restrictiveness, and consistency. In the first one, we will be explain like the information about the extent to which other people behave the same way the actor does toward the same stimulus. This means the person, actor, and the situation, same people behaving same way in all the places. That's called the consistency. This shows the high consistency if the people behave same way in the same situation. On the other hand, distinctiveness information is about to the actor behave a same way at the different places, like any other place where he or she is showing the similar kind of behavior, where the behavior is not adaptable or adaptable. It's depend upon the situation. So if he or she is showing the same kind of the behavior at the different situation, then it shows the high distinctiveness. And if they are, he and she will be show a like less behavior and do not show the same behavior at the different places, then she or she will be show low distinctiveness. And last one is consistency information. In this information, we will be explain that behavior between the actor and the situation is similar at the all time and all the situations. So in this we can say that the time and the situation is similar and behavior for the actor is also similar. So that's the all that we have studied in the co-creation model. Now Ash will be described furthermore.
So Ramanja, tell us about the convariation model. Now, I will tell you guys about the fundamental attribution error. What is the fundamental attribution error? It is basic attribution mistake occurs when we inaccurately blame a person's activities. For example, in a group of people, everyone is having expensive meal, whereas one person just ordered a coffee. And at that moment, all the people think that he is a stingy person who don't want to spend money, but maybe he do not have money, or he is saving his money for something else. Maybe he is not in mood to eat anything. That's why he's just enjoying coffee. And it is the point at which we mix up internal and situational attributions. Next slide. We frequently assume that people's acts are the reflection of their personality, while it may also be attributed to their circumstances. That people, the most prevalent type of attributing. Now, here's my personal example. I had an interview at Walmart a few days ago. I board the SkyTrain, and as I exit, I am pulled by another rider. During the procedure, I twisted and sprained my ankle. I was nearly 15 minutes late and I arrived. There were two interviewers who were commenting to each other that she was late and unreliable. I'm not sure we can rely on her to be at work on time every day. Despite having a strong interview, I was not get hired. They just have an internal attribution about me because they do not know about my situation. Thank you.
So here are the references for our presentation, and thank you so much.